Residents of island informal settlement in Khayelitsha have taken to building homes with sand. They're digging up from under a bridge. It's led to concerns that the bridge will eventually collapse. 4 boys died this week in eNCA. They were smothered by sand after falling into a sinkhole while playing in the area. For an update on this, I am joined by eNCA reporter Nobesuthu Hejana. Nobesuthu, when we spoke earlier, you showed us the visuals of that road that is basically collapsing. What are residents saying about when it rains? What do they do, for instance, when it rains?
Well, apart from being concerned about what might happen if that bridge collapsed, they're too admitting that they're the reason why that bridge is in that state, because they are digging up sand to level when their homes are flooded and also to elevate their structures. But for more on this, I'm joined by the MEC of Public Works and Transport in the Western Cape, Mr. Bonginkosi Madikizela, who's just going to be explaining to us, as the department, sir, what is your initial response to what is happening in many communities around Cape Town?
It's quite shocking, Nobesuthu. You know, I don't know what is happening in our country, that people are resorting to irresponsible behavior as a justification for their situation. I mean, that cannot be. There are so many places where people can get the sand. I mean, how do you justify risking the collapse of the entire road because you want to take the sand and level your house? That can never be. That is why you have people on top of the railway line claiming that they have nowhere to stay. I mean, we cannot have that. So, and therefore, as I said, with regard to what happened here, where we are now, I mean, my department is investigating. In some areas, of course, where this was reported, we moved in there, working with the local authority, we closed that, and that is what we need to do here. But I must say, Nobesuthu, that the vacuum that is there when it comes to the local leadership is quite concerning for me. Governance really is a responsibility of those who are elected, and together with those who have elected them. You know, we have leaders in our local communities. We have councillors, we have structures there, and it shouldn't be the role of the government alone to call out people who are doing what these people are doing.
And apart from that investigation that you are telling me about, what is the immediate response from your office to ensure that we don't see another incident like what we saw last week?
Of course, we are working with the law enforcement. I mean, I'm sure you see for yourself every time when you go through here, and which is also, again, concerning Nobesuthu, that our law enforcement officers are so stretched. We have to be fighting serious crime out there. But you see these guys standing along the roads, looking after, the infrastructure that our own people should be looking after, because it is servicing them. And the fact that we now need police to look after that infrastructure because the people who should be looking after it, are vandalizing it. It's quite concerning. So law enforcement is working with us to make sure that we look after that infrastructure, but it shouldn't be happening like that. It's really, really concerning.
And the details of that report, when can we expect a much thorough report as to what have you been investigating and your findings?
Well, I'm expecting the report sometime next week. The week that we are starting tomorrow, and I will share that report with you. But really, I want to call out, our leaders out there. We really need, any development is a partnership between communities and government, and they need to play their role. We cannot have this happening in our communities.
Right. Thank you very much. Well, Maseko, that was the MEC for Public Works and Transport in the Western Cape, Mr. Bonginkosi Madikizela, saying that they have conducted an investigation that will be reported, or rather shared with the media next week. And they are also calling out community members as well as their community leaders to stop digging up those sand by the road or the bridges, because it will lead to an incident that we don't want to see.